Be inspired. Sean was diagnosed with autism at 18 months. When it was discovered that he was also gluten and casein intolerant, he was placed on a biomedical diet. After trying a number of the mixes available, Grandma Debbie and her sister Kathy knew they could do better. Something just as healthy, but with improved taste and texture. Inspiration mixes are exactly that, and we'd like to share our delicious creations with you. We're sure you'll love them just as much as Sean does. Bon appetit. Welcome to Inspiration Mixes, a gluten-free baking mix company. My name is Debbie, and I would like to show you how to make a pound cake out of the Cara sugar cookie mix. They make wonderful sugar cookies, this mix does, and also snickerdoodles, but the pound cake is absolutely fabulous, and we'll be garnishing it with fresh strawberries and whipped cream. I have taken a 9 by 5 inch pan, and this will take a 9 by 5 inch pan. So be sure, and when you're going to do this, otherwise it will flow over the top. It makes a nice large loaf of pound cake. You also pre-butter it, and use butter, don't use shortening, use butter to grease the pan, and you can see that I've used quite a bit. This will all absorb into the pound cake. So I'm going to take the entire mix and put it into my bowl. You will need a stand mixer for this because it ends up being heavy. 2 sticks of butter, which is equal to 1 cup. You can also use margarine. 2 teaspoons of vanilla. 2 tablespoons of applesauce. And the applesauce really helps with keeping it very nice and soft. Even though it is soft without it, it also helps with making it rise. The next ingredients that we're going to mix is the zest of 2 oranges. So I'm going to zest this. This takes a couple minutes. So we'll be back and then we'll mix it. Now I've taken the 2 oranges and scraped off the skin, which is what's called zesting. Something that is not on the recipe on the box that I just want to give you as an additive is I cut one of the oranges in half and I squeeze the juice in it. I love the flavor of the orange, and even though the zest is enough, this just adds something else. So I cut 1 orange in half and then in half again, and I use this to catch the seeds. So I'm simply just going to squeeze, ooh, look at that, squeeze that out. And I do 2. You don't want to do the whole thing because it'll be too much liquid. And if any of those orange seeds come out, you can catch them. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to mix this. And I put the Cara sugar cookie mix on the bottom because it's a very, very light, powdery recipe. And you'll start it out on low because otherwise it'll do too much of that. And just kind of powders up just a little bit. Just for a couple of seconds. Kind of get it in there, mix it with the butter. We're going to do that a couple of times till the butter moistens the flours mixture. And then once that happens, then I'm going to turn it on medium-high for 2 minutes, and we'll be right back. So we've mixed our paste, and it literally is a paste. So I'm going to show this paste to you as we take it out. We're going to set it aside. Until we go to our next step. Now you'll need to clean out your bowl unless you have two stand mixers, because the next step is to beat the eggs and the sugar together until they're very fluffy. So we'll be right back. I went and cleaned my bowl because we don't want anything in it when we mix the sugar and the eggs. We have 3 egg yolks and 3 whole eggs we're going to put in here. And 1 1/4 cup of sugar. The wire whisk attachment is a must because that is what's going to make it light and fluffy. We put it on high for 4 minutes, and we'll be back in 4 minutes. We've taken our 1 1/4 cup sugar, the 3 egg yolks and whole eggs, 3 whole eggs, and whipped it on high for 4 minutes. And what ends up happening is it becomes almost white. It's a real pale yellow, and that's what you're looking for. We're going to keep the wire whisk attachment on because we're going to gently fold in the paste that we made earlier. So what I do is just simply put in a couple of blobs and run it on low to medium low. Just take it out, put a little bit more in there till it's all incorporated. It's going to be chunky, but that's what you want. It tends to get a little stuck in your wire whisk, so just take your spatula and move it out of there. So now you can see that it is lumpy in here. I just take a spatula to try to even that out a little bit. Then we're going to take it and pour it in our pan. I preheated our oven to 350 and it will bake for 60 minutes. Be sure and check it at 55 minutes. Oven temperatures do vary. Generally, for my oven temperature, when I check it with a toothpick like you would any normal cake, it will come out with it being still soft. So cook it for 5 more minutes. You don't want to cook it till it comes out clean, the toothpick comes out clean, because you'll over bake it. See you in 60 minutes. We made our pound cake. It took a full 60 minutes. You let it rest in the pan for 30 minutes before you take it out. Once you take it out, let it rest again another 30 minutes. Like anything else, you don't want it to crumble when it's ready to take a slice. So now we're going to slice off a wonderful piece of this pound cake. Look at that. Doesn't that look great? I know these are big pieces, so usually what we do is we cut a piece in half. Oh, that smells so good. That orange zest really does a number. Then I like to make my own whipping cream. So we'll put a little fresh whipping cream on that. And you can even use the recipe we have for the mock cream cheese frosting. It's on the back of our millet oat bread and baking mix. Doesn't that look wonderful? Excellent. From our home to your kitchen. Bon appetit.